Hey everybody, welcome to Divine Conversations. My name is Eric. Thank you so much for tuning in. So welcome to a Divine Feminine reading. This is something that I've been wanting to do for YouTube, for the YouTube Collective for some time now. I remember I was talking about that last week. And my thought was, I thought I was going to do a reading for the Divine Feminine over the weekend. But it just didn't work out that way. It didn't feel right to do so until today, which is Monday, October 12th. I did morning coffee, and basically the message of the Divine Feminine cutting everyone and everything off kind of came through. And so for this, I've been sitting with that energy all day, just kind of like thinking about it, meditating on it, and I did meditate on it for a while, and I want to talk about what came up. But for now, or for this session, for this reading, the title is Leaving It All Behind, because that really does feel like what's happening for the Divine Feminine Collective right now, or at least those in the collective that I'm connecting with, channeling for, blah, 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 whoop-de-whoop, and all that, right? So let's talk about this. What I picked up on in meditation, at first, the first image that I got was of a woman driving a car, and it looked like the atmosphere that she was driving this car in. It looked like she was driving from it actually, and I've been doing a lot of studying of astrology and all that lately, and today I was really focusing on the houses. But it looked like an astrological chart. And she was driving from one house to the next. But the house that she was leaving, oh yes, very much like my thing here. Like, so say, let's see, where can you see? You can see here. So say she was in this house right here, right? Well, she was driving from this one to the next one. But the house that she was in was dark, was completely pitch black. And the house that she was driving into was almost red. It looked kind of red. I can't really tell if it was like red or if it was just more illuminated. But you know how when you come out of some extreme darkness and like say you go from like a pitch black room with no light out into the sunlight, right? Where it's like unobstructed, pure, bright sun, and it's almost like it looks red, like you can see like the blood in the back of your eyelids or something like that, you know, that kind of energy. But also, what Spirit is saying here in terms of the color looking red, there's also a lot of Mars energy involved with this. And that was the first clue for me to say, okay, the feminine, at least this part of the collective, is integrating with the masculine, and thus becoming very protective of herself, being very action oriented. The feeling surrounding this literally feels like just completely cutting everything and everyone off that absolutely does not serve her. And I know that sounds a little cliche. I know that's something that we say a lot, but ultimately, or quite frankly, here in this situation, literally anything or anyone that does not serve her highest good, her well-being and whatnot, it feels like there's an energy of getting ready to cut that off or having already cut that off. I will also say that there is a little bit of an extreme nature to this, maybe going to extremes, maybe in some cases going a little too far is what I just heard. But the next thing I want to share with you, the next image that came through, again, was of a woman driving a car, and so obviously the symbolism there is getting around on your own, driving your own self, driving your own ship, being the master of your own departure or the master of where it is you go, having the control to say, I no longer want to be here, I'm going somewhere else. And this image actually was like almost like around a 1940s theme. A woman that dressed in like what would look like around the 1940s America. Even her car looked like that time frame. But that's very specific because it wasn't until around the 1950s, I want to say. I'm not really well versed on my history in that sense. But I feel like a lot of the liberation of women and all that started around the 1950s into the 1960s, I want to say. And so to be in like kind of like a 1940s era, asserting yourself, driving yourself away, making the choice to do what's best for you is huge, okay? And a lot of this feels like liberation from mainly even the Twin Flame Collective. I do feel like, and this is something that I've been channeling for some time, but it's the mainstream Twin Flame Collective. It's all of the I kind of want to say dogma or the narrative of, waiting for the masculine. Well, not really waiting for the masculine, but holding space for the masculine counterpart, or sending energy. I don't really watch twin flame readings anymore, so I don't know what the narrative these days is. But I know when I was watching and I was doing a lot of twin flame readings, that was kind of the case. Oh, we have to hold space for him, or oh, we have to send them love or send them energy, blah 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 blah. And this kind of feels like not holding any space for anyone else other than your own self. Okay. There was also another image that came to mind in terms of the extreme nature that some may be taking this right now. Again, I feel like a lot of this has to do with integrating with your own inner masculine energies, all right? And it makes sense that, the pendulum would have to swing, especially if the pendulum, for you personally, if the pendulum were on like the extreme feminine side and now it's swinging to balance things out, and now it's going to kind of go to the extreme masculine side and then come back to the center, that makes perfect sense. But this image that came to mind was of like almost bodybuilders, like female bodybuilders with that extreme masculine physique or the extreme muscle build, muscle tone. And I even heard one of them, the individual say, well, let's play dumb, like really trying to throw people, or I guess the masculine, for a loop here. So, okay. I mean, I am hearing spirit say that can get a little bit dangerous, that can get a little bit vindictive, and it's not necessarily that we want to do that. We don't want to be tit for tat here. We don't want to be getting back at the masculine or anyone really. We don't want to be retaliating. We don't want to be vengeful. But I don't really feel like that's the biggest case scenario here. I feel like it's mostly an energy of taking your power back, taking your honor back, and doing what it is right for you, and not letting anyone tell you you can't. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get into a reading for us here, and I do want to start with the Divine Feminine Oracle, and then I'm just going to kind of wing it from there. All right, and see what comes through. Give me just a second here. Let me just sage the cards really quick. I did use this deck for a reading on Patreon. If you're not following me on Patreon and you're looking for more Twin Flame content, I do Twin Flame readings over on Patreon. It's mostly where I do, because I don't really read for the Twin Flame Collective much anymore. Just because I've gone through my own shift with that energy, but I do, every once in a while, I'll do a twin flame reading and bring that energy, especially if I'm really guided to. I was really guided to do this reading, and I knew I wanted to do a reading for the YouTube collective, but anyway, and then I think, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull messages for the Divine Feminine. Where's the Divine Feminine at right now? Guidance that the Divine Feminine might need. Also looking into a little bit into the future, what could be coming up for the Divine Feminine. And then actually, I think I want to do a little bit of an extended version over for the Patreoners, and talk about, in terms of what came through for the Divine Feminine here, what does that mean for the Divine Masculine? How is that going to affect the Divine Masculine? That could also talk about your own inner masculine energies, especially if you are one of those that's really been working on balancing and integrating both masculine and feminine, okay? All right, so with that said, let's get into this here. God, Source, Creator, Divine Spirits, Angels, Archangels, Ascended Masters, Spirit Guides, and Way Showers, we ask you to please enter our space here. beings of love and light that wish to aid in the ascension, expansion, and integration of masculine and feminine energies. We ask that you enter our space here and please provide us with the best messages for the Divine Feminine Collective at this time. We thank you so much for your guidance. Alrighty, kids. Let's get into this here and see what we've got for the Divine Feminine Collective, yeah? Just gonna go ahead and give this a few shuffles. Alright. Way showers, guides. Goddesses and gods. We ask that you please enter our space here and please provide us with the best messages, the best guidance for the Divine Feminine Collective right now. Where is the Divine Feminine Collective right now? What messages do you have for the Divine Feminine Collective right now? One more shuffle here. Alright. So, where is the Divine Feminine right now? Wow. You know what? I'm not going to take all that. We're going to try this again. Where is the Divine Feminine right now? Ariadne, or Ariadne, mistress of the labyrinth. My soul knows the way, and the only way out is through. Here's the Divine Feminine Collective right now. Honestly, this kind of feels like the Divine Feminine is being a little bit of a, of a bulldozer. Not taking no for an answer. Okay, see, look at this, you guys. This is fantastic. So we also have Dakini, the enlightened feminine. My gut instinct is wise beyond reason. I trust my intuition to guide me. And we also have Sarasvati, the goddess of self-knowledge. The essence of who I am flows effortlessly into everything I create, all right? So what this is saying here is mostly for the Divine Feminine Collective right now, you've gotten to a place where you recognize the maze, you recognize the labyrinth, you recognize kind of the rat race that you may have been in association with this twin flame journey. But ultimately, which is kind of the point of the whole twin flame journey, is you've reached a level of self-awareness, okay, that has brought you towards enlightenment here. And that's allowing you to literally, I'm literally seeing you take a beeline straight towards the exit of the relationship. Ooh, wow, okay. Instead of walking this maze any longer, it's like you figured out the shortcut. But that shortcut has been self-awareness, self-knowledge, okay? Underneath the deck, we have Saint Bridget, Our Lady of Exalted Light. I give endlessly because the light is without end. My soul is all I need. You're finding, there are many of us in the Divine Feminine Collective here that are finding that you don't really need anyone else in order to survive, in order to be safe, in order to be happy, in order to feel loved. That doesn't mean that you're going into an extreme sense of hermit mode. Sure, of course not. But also, it does mean that you're not dependent on someone else's care. You're not dependent on someone else's love. And that includes the Divine Masculine. But I feel like mostly this is happening here because you've reached a level of integration and balance with the masculine energies within yourself, okay? So you don't really need that external representation of the masculine because you found it within. I am going to do that. But first, actually, what I want to get into... bear with me here. I am kind of weighing this. Let's do the Moonology deck. Because I want to look at what cycles are closing out here for us, for you, Divine Feminine. And the moon is a very feminine energy, right? So we're gonna do that. All right. So for the Divine Feminine Collective, where are we right now? What messages do we have for the Divine Feminine Collective? What cycles have been closed out? What cycle are you in? Are you entering a new cycle? Well, obviously you would be. I'll give this one more shuffle. Okay. For the Divine Feminine Collective, what messages? For the Divine Feminine Collective. Okay, you have the waxing moon. The energy is gaining momentum. You have South Node. Don't let your past hold you back. And then you also have, new moon in Pisces. Meditate and contemplate. All right, at the bottom of the deck, you have the answers you need are coming. Full moon in Gemini. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. So, the energy of your spiritual journey, your spiritual progression, Spirit is saying, that is what's gaining momentum here. And in terms of not letting your past hold you back, your past being, individually, your past being karmically, your past being past lives, also your past being with the Divine Masculine or the energies that what you went through, with the Divine Masculine. Okay, don't let that hold you back. It was all an experience, a lesson, a teaching. It was all meant to help you become self-aware, to gain this self-knowledge, to be able to close out the karmic cycles. Okay? Now, some of you don't really know where you're going, don't really understand why, but ultimately, the answers that you need are going to come. Yeah, see, and a fiery climax approaches. All right? It really just, honestly, it really just feels like the Divine Feminine here is really just letting go of everything. Okay? Let's get into the Energy Oracle deck, and let's get a little bit of a specific energy for the Divine Feminine Collective right here, right now. All right? So, for the Divine Feminine, where is the Divine Feminine right now? What messages do we have for the Divine Feminine? We have the Magician and the Mirror, the 6th chakra, Archangel Metatron. We have action, community, and the 7th chakra, Archangel Uriel. Ooh. Okay, but you also have envy at the bottom of the deck. That envy, I do believe, is coming from the masculine collective. Clarify community. Cornucopia. Okay. Interesting. Okay. So let's talk about this. Magician in the Mirror. 6th and 7th chakra. Action, community, and cornucopia. With attachment at the bottom of the deck. So it's gotten to the point right now, Divine Feminine, where you are in a place of strong enlightenment. Strong enlightenment here, okay? Your 6th and your 7th chakras are open, or are opening. You're seeing the truth behind the matter. You're seeing beyond the veil. You're really starting to understand your connection with the abundance of the universe. Understanding that if you want a romantic relationship, okay, great, you can have a romantic relationship. But there's so much more to explore. There's so much more to see, to hear, to feel, to appreciate, to experience. That being caught up on that romantic relationship, getting caught on any sort of relationship here is not something that I feel like you are willing to do any longer. I feel like when you release attachment from a sense of community, but a community that's no longer serving you. This could be friends, this could be family, this could be the Twin Flame Collective, this could anything. When you release this sense of community here, or this sense of conformity, even hive mind energy, there's a level of cornucopia that you now have access to. And I know that kind of sounds counterproductive, or it kind of sounds a little backward, but ultimately the community that you were a part of was keeping you held down, keeping you grounded in a way that was unnatural for you. Instead of rooting yourself in this community here, I feel like you're rooting yourself in the truth of who you are, or what it is you really want, what it is you really want to experience, what it is you really want to perceive. I'm even hearing. Okay. Okay. Let's get into some tarot. Let's see. And I do want to start clarifying some stuff here. But there you go. I mean, there's action right there for you, Divine Feminine. You're taking action now. You are in the manifestation seat. You are in the driver's seat. Okay? You are, in fact, in the driver's seat. I really feel like all kinds of allegiances are changing for you right now. You may really be going into a strong sense of hermit mode in these energies. To fight for yourself, I'm hearing, to fight for your right to feel, to fight for your right to feel what's right for you, to be happy, to feel safe, grounded, and secure. I just heard you're taking the wisdom and the strength that you've built over this time period, whatever this time period has been for you in this journey, and you're putting it into use. You're grounding it. You're using it to your advantage, really. Let's get one more shuffle here. First thing I want to look at is this South Node. Don't let your past hold you back. Yeah, the Fool. I mean, that's pretty self-explanatory. With Temperance at the bottom of the deck. So, so Divine Feminine, it really feels like you've gotten to the point where you really learned these lessons for yourself. You've come into a state of harmony and balance and union within yourself. And how ironic is it that when you get into this place, you leave the masculine behind? Why? Because you no longer need that external version of the masculine. You have that balance within yourself. Okay. The energy is gaining momentum. Okay. Five of Swords in reverse. This is why the energy is gaining momentum. Because you're no longer seeking that external validation. You're no longer keeping up that fight. You're no longer staying in situations or circumstances in which karmic energies are holding you down. I mean, I know the karmics and karmic energies is a big part of the twin flame situation. I personally was never one that really wanted to talk about any of that. I didn't want to focus on the karmics. I always kept my channel as a place for us to work on building our own self-worth and own self-awareness. I didn't want to dive into the tap into the karmic energies, but the energy is gaining momentum for you because you're releasing that toxic element. You're choosing not to stay in those karmic toxic energies any longer. Wheel of Fortune, changing the karma, changing your destiny, changing your karmic destiny. And it's not even, and I feel like some of you were in it for certain reasons other than to help your masculine, but I don't even want to define that for you, but what I feel here is that not even engaging in those situations or circumstances any longer, which is helping to clear up the energy for you, and is helping the momentum to gain, the energy to gain momentum in a really positive way for you. Like, I kind of want to say everything's about to change. The less you engage or the less you engage with low vibrational or toxic energies or karmic energies, the more the positive energies can gain momentum for yourself, and the more things can change for you. Okay? You're not fighting for him any longer. Instead, you're fighting for yourself. All right. Now let's talk about, since we're on that topic, let's talk about community here. Eight of Cups to the 10 of Cups with the 3 of Pentacles. You're literally walking away from a certain type of community here. What once seemed to be a big happy family, but it's not. Or at least it ultimately became a situation where it was not that big happy family for you. And so instead of staying in this community, you're deciding, Divine Feminine, to walk away and work on yourself. Be alone for a while. This definitely feels like a strong hermit energy. Okay. Sorry guys, my neighbors are doing some sort of work now. All right, let's talk about the 6th and the 7th chakra here. Three of Cups, Queen of Cups. Yeah. And the Knight of Pentacles. At the bottom of the deck is the Ace of Swords. All right, so yeah, this is definitely talking about that community, that hive mind energy. Whereas the community felt one way or feels one way, you started to understand that you feel differently. You started to understand your feelings and emotions more through this community. And I guess you could say this is a beautiful thing, you know? With the Knight of Pentacles here, this was something that you slowly but surely came to a realization of, or you slowly opened up to. But now, at this point, you have the energy, the awareness. Ace of Swords to the King of Pentacles at the bottom of the deck, to the Knight of Wands, to the King of Wands, to Justice, to the Four of Wands. Okay, Justice here obviously is you being in this kind of king energy in which, you know, the masculine really is coming out here for you. Coming out strong. The King of Pentacles being solid and secure and stable in yourself. You really have, and yes, go ahead and give gratitude to this community, I guess this hive-minded mentality, if you want to call it that, because it's allowed you to gain the wisdom and the knowledge of yourself, and it's allowed you to really get very stable in who you are and what it is you want to experience. And it's brought you a great sense of confidence. Okay, so masculine energy is really coming out here for you, and you're really moving forward quite quickly, inspired even, as that light worker, okay? All right, let's get one more pull here, one last pull. And I want to look at, Three of Pentacles, I want to look at here, the Magician in the Mirror, Action, and Cornucopia. Okay, excellent, okay. Two of Pentacles is at the bottom of the deck, so a greater sense of balance and harmony and union within yourself. But look, even more masculine energy is coming through here. We have the King of Cups to the Six of Wands, the Two of Cups, okay? Which, for sure, okay, so for some of you, this means, yes, there is a relationship coming, but honestly, I don't feel like you're focused on that at all. The biggest thing that I'm getting from this Two of Cups is the balance and the harmony and the union of masculine and feminine energy within. Okay, really have gotten into this King of Cups energy, this awareness of who you are, this emotional maturity. All right, you have the King and the Queen here, and it's funny because in Morning Coffee today, where that inspired this whole reading, the King and the Queen of Cups came out. there as well. All right? But with that said, you have the Page of Pentacles and you have the, what is this? Oh, the Knight of Cups and also the Nine of Swords. But I like the way the Nine of Swords is depicted here. This is the After Tarot deck because you're fighting off the demons. You're fighting off your fears. All right? It's like they have no chance against you any longer. Page of Pentacles, Knight of Cups. Page of Pentacles is turning over a new leaf, starting a new reality, having leveled up, starting a new project, starting a new endeavor. With the Knight of Cups here, this is you doing that in terms of following through with your heart's desire. Okay? I like this, Divine Feminine. I like this a lot. I want to get a closing oracle. And you know what? We're going to do that with the crystal mandala. All right, so we're going to get this closing oracle. And then in terms of all of this, I am going to go and do an, we'll call it an after hours session for the Patreoners in terms of how this energy that the Divine Feminine is moving through, how is that affecting the masculine? Actually, you know what? I'm not going to do the crystal mandala. I'm actually going to do the Goddess Guidance Oracle deck for our closing guidance for the Divine Feminine. That seems fitting. That seems fitting. All right. Here we go. So I'm going to give this 3 shuffles here. Nah, we're good. Okay, here we go. Closing oracle guidance. Yup. You have 2 cards here. Ostara, fertility. It is the perfect time for you to start new projects, access new ideas, and give birth to new conditions. And then finally you have Irene, peace. There is no need to worry as everything is working out beautifully. Fantastic. I love this. So there you have it, Divine Feminine. Hopefully that was helpful for you. Please don't hesitate to like, share, and subscribe. If you haven't followed me on Patreon yet and you're interested in doing so, all of the information is in the description box below. But with that said, I love you guys so very much, and I hope you have a great day, and yeah, I hope this resonated for you. Please don't hesitate to let me know in the comments down below. Yes? Take care. Mwah!